Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Stasia and I've recently lost 25 pounds in just under 3 months following a whole food plant-based diet. So I actually just put out this video a couple of days ago explaining the number one thing that I did to lose that weight. However, today's video is sort of like a part 2 to that video, as one of the most popular questions that I have got is that, am I still eating bread and pasta? I definitely have a lot to say about this and what I'm doing about that, so that's what we're going to be getting into in today's video. But if you want to check out the number one thing that I did, I will have that video linked in my description box below. And in addition to that video, I will also have all of my weight loss recipe ebooks linked in my description box below. These are the exact recipes I am eating to get this weight off. So I say that really confidently that these recipes absolutely work. So if you're in need of some more whole food plant-based recipes, all of my recipes are super simple. They're all oil-free. And right now my books are all 50% off. So take advantage of the sale if you like. Again, the link will be found in my description box below. All right, so let's get into the video. So I'm gonna start this off by simply answering the question, am I still eating bread or pasta? And the answer is not really. So what I mean is that I am no longer making bread or pasta a number one choice, and I'm very rarely eating it. Now, I don't want to claim that I've 100% cut it out the way that I have with the overt fats. I'm not super strict about it that I just will not ever have it again or have any at all. But what I can say is that it's very rare when I do. And secondly, like I said before, it is no longer a first choice for me. So what I mean by that is, in the past, I would have gladly eaten some avocado toast, which was one of my favorite things in life. And I pretty much had that every day. So right there, that's a lot of bread, because when you're eating it every day, then that eventually adds up. It's not just about that individual day, it's about the consistency of eating that bread all the time, right? And the same with pasta. So pasta is not something I had every day, but it would still be a first choice in terms of maybe a nice pasta salad or just, some spaghetti or something like that. So when I say it's no longer a first choice for me, that's what I mean. So I have really significantly reduced all bread and all pasta, almost down to not eating it at all. But like I said, there's that small window that if I want to have some, I'll have some. And I have some really good reasons, especially pertaining to weight loss specifically, as far as why I no longer want to eat these foods. So one of the really big misconceptions for me that I really misunderstood this point, because coming into this lifestyle, we often hear, that we can eat as much as we want, and as long as it's low in fat, as long as it's oil-free, that, it's kind of a free-for-all and you don't ever really have to worry about it in terms of your weight loss, as long as you're sticking to the low-fat and oil-free rules. Yeah, well, that did not work out very well for me. So this is something that I've come to learn is just not true. There is a huge, significant difference between eating pastas and breads and some of our other whole food foods. So I'm gonna get into that in a little bit more detail. So for example, bread and pasta, while it is very low in fat, and it is in fact oil-free if we prepare it that way, what it isn't is high in fiber. And that right there, my friends, is the missing link. I had no idea how important that part was. So I'm hoping that maybe some of you that are possibly in the same shoes that I was in, thinking, that pastas and bread are all the same in terms of all of our other whole foods. I got news for you. Big difference. So why does fiber matter? Fiber matters because fiber is what keeps us full. And when something is low in fiber, such as bread and pasta, it means that you need to eat a lot more of it to actually feel full. So it is inevitable that you're going to be naturally consuming a lot more calories eating the bread or pasta to feel satiated than you would if you just had a plate of potatoes. My driving point home with this one, that you need to remember this part, because it's really important, and something I didn't realize for many years, is that a low-fat diet has to be, it's imperative. It needs to be synonymous with a high fiber diet. because there's all kinds of low-fat foods. I mean, we can go to the grocery store and find all kinds of candy that has 0 fat in it, right? All these other products that are 0 fat. But the real question is it high in fiber? That is one of the biggest reasons that I am just trying to stay away from breads and pastas being a top choice for me, you know, when it comes to meal planning or anything like that. It's just too expensive, so to speak, calorically speaking, for my liking. I would much rather sit down to a meal of potatoes or sweet potatoes or any type of whole food, really, that's gonna fill me up and I can eat a lot more of it. I know a lot of people always talk about needing protein to feel satisfied, and you know that protein's so excellent for weight loss. But for me, I'm really learning that fiber is the magic pill, if there is anyone to speak of, because fiber actually tricks our brain into thinking that we've had enough to eat. So you really don't even have to consume that much if you're eating something super high in fiber to feel full. So it's been really incredible. So that's the number one reason why breads and pastas are just a no for me at this point. And breads and pastas are what we call dry starches, just meaning that they don't have a high water content. So when foods don't have a lot of water in them, then they naturally become more calorically dense. So that is not what we want when we're on a weight loss journey. So what you want to do is swap out those breads and pastas for what we call wet starches. And the wet starches are the foods that are wet. They have a higher water content, which means that you're going to feel fuller, you're going to feel more satiated for less calories. If you're eating a lot of breads or pastas, try swapping some of it out for some potatoes instead or some oatmeal, because the volume that you're going to be able to get is far more than a few pieces of bread. The other reason that I'm not a huge fan of breads and pastas anymore is that they're really high on the glycemic index as well, just meaning that they make our blood sugars rise pretty fast. And a lot of us are insulin resistant, even if we don't realize we are. Most of us are, and therefore, when you eat these breads and pastas, it just converts to sugar and then it gets stored as fat. So that is not what we want on this weight loss journey. No, thank you. Whole complex carbs are much lower on the glycemic index, making them once again a better choice for being a weight loss food. Okay, so this next one maybe should have been my first one, bloating. Have you ever noticed how bloated you feel after eating bread or pasta? It's not the same when you have potatoes or rice or beans, like at least not for me. When I have bread, I swear it's like 15 or 20 minutes and I magically have a food baby. Like it's not my favorite look at all. Let's just say that. And it takes hours for it to actually calm down and go away. So I really feel like since eliminating the breads and pastas for the most part, it's not an issue I really deal with anymore. So honestly, that alone is reason enough for me to not really care about eating breads and pastas anymore. Okay, and lastly, I just found that when I was eating a lot of bread and pasta, that they were really a trigger food for me. It would just kind of set me up for craving, you know, other refined carbs as the day went on. I love my sugar. I have a sweet tooth, I always have. However, I will say that in these last few months, I'm really kind of getting that under control, and I don't feel like it has such a handle on me the way that it used to. But when it was bad, it was bad. And eating the breads and pastas just kind of put me into a spiral for the rest of my day, just like really craving it. So either I was giving in to the cravings by eating some kind of junk, you know, to satisfy that craving, or I would just be really struggling with not eating anything else, and it was just misery, you know? So I don't know. I just don't see a lot of benefit in eating pastas and breads. It's just not the same when you're eating, you know, from the earth, when you're eating naturally. It doesn't have the same type of effect on your body. And I like to think that the human body just kind of knows what to do with these natural foods, whereas when we're putting in these refined, processed foods, even if they're just minimally processed, still, if it didn't grow from the earth, then you can almost see how the body might struggle to figure out how to digest this, how to break it down, what to do with these things. So yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm totally okay with just eating as natural as I can. And unfortunately, or fortunately, breads and pastas just don't make the cut. I also really believe that by cutting out these breads and pastas, that has been a really big contributor into this weight loss. I feel like breads and pastas just loved sticking to me, like quite literally, so along with getting rid of the overt fats and really reducing those breads and pastas, I really think that has a lot to do with why I'm seeing such great results. So if you are still struggling with your weight, can't really figure out why it's not budging, then perhaps that's something that you could give a try. Just try cutting it out even for a week or two and see what type of results you might have from doing that. And also pay attention to how you feel, because you'll be surprised the difference, just like the brain fog lifts, like all these things. And when you stop and think about it, you start asking these questions like, why would I want to be eating any of these foods that make me feel so bad in the first place, right? But sometimes we don't even know how bad certain foods are making us feel until we're not eating them anymore. Isn't that crazy? But I would absolutely try cutting them out or really reducing them to see if that might help. I am Team Starches all the way, and I really believe that is the ticket to sustainable weight loss. All right, everyone, so I hope that answered your question as far as am I eating breads and pastas, and as far as why I'm choosing not to. And of course, if you have any other questions, then you can just drop it in the comments below and I'll be sure to try to answer them. And if you are new to my channel and love health and weight loss content, following a plant-based diet, maybe you're on a journey yourself or you just want to follow along mine, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, as I would love to have you stick around. Don't forget to check that awesome book sale, and we will see all of you in the next one.